So, now what can we do? What can we do here? Sine of data is equal to what? Opposite over hypotenuse. Excellent. So what is opposite of data and what is the hypotenuse in respect to data? Y'all don't have to do better with these hands.
You had to know better. You had to know better.
What is what? Opposite over hypotenuse. Which is that?
12 over negative 12 over 13.
Opposite of data is negative 12. And the hypotenuse is what?
13.
13. Perfect.
I got a question.
I have an answer.
How come the opposite angle could be negative, but the hypotenuse can't be negative?
What is the measurement to get to this point? No, what happened to get here? We went over 5 and down how many? 12. Anytime you go down somewhere, it's negative. This is the point. The triangle that we are forming is just to help us solve the problem. Therefore, the direction or the distance from the origin to the point is always positive. That's it. That's what we did. We found the distance from the origin to the point, and that's always going to be positive. Because I can't go in a negative direction. I can't go negative 60 miles to get to California. It doesn't work. Okay? All right. So what is cosine of data? 5 over 13. What is tangent of data? Negative 12 over 5. What is secant of data? Secant of data is the inverse function of sine of data. So it's what? 13 over negative 12. Secant of data is the inverse of cosine of data. So what is that? 13 over 5. And cotangent is the inverse of the tangent of data. So that is going to be 5 over negative 12. Perfect. Now, I have a test for you all. What does this mean again? All scholars take calculus. What does that mean here? All scholars take calculus. What is that in reference to? All meaning all of what? All of the 6 functions are positive in the first quadrant. So all of the trig functions are positive in the first quadrant. What does the S stand for? Sine. And it's sine and what? Its inverse function, which is cosecant. So sine and cosecant are positive in the second quadrant. What is T? Tangent. So tangent is and cotangent is positive in the third quadrant. And what is C? Cosine and secant of data is positive in the fourth quadrant. Yes? All scholars take calculus, meaning all trigonometric functions are positive here. Quadrant 2, the 2 sine functions, sine and its inverse, are positive. Tangent and its inverse, cotangent, are positive. And cosine and secant of data is positive in the fourth quadrant. Now let's check this out to see if Mr. Robles is storytelling or if it's true. When we look at sine of data and cosecant of data, it's what? Negative 12 over 13 and 13 over negative 12. Now this triangle on the board is in what quadrant? The fourth quadrant. Is that supposed to be negative in the fourth quadrant? Sine and cosecant. Is Is it supposed to be negative in the fourth quadrant?
No.
Sine and cosecant. Yes, it is supposed to be negative in the fourth quadrant. It's supposed to be negative in the fourth quadrant because what's the only one that can be positive in the fourth quadrant?
It's
What's the only one that can be positive in the fourth quadrant?
cosine.
Cosine and
Secant.
secant of theta. So let's check that out. Is 5/13 positive?
Yeah.
Is the inverse of 5/13, 13/5 positive?
Yeah.
Is that true? Mr. Robles storytelling, or is he giving you all facts? Don't y'all love the facts?
Yes.
Tangent of theta is -12/5. -12/5 is indeed negative, and we're in the fourth quadrant still, so is this true?
Yes.
Perfect. You all have this down?
Yeah.
Great. I'm moving on then. I'm not going to erase the board. I will move over here though to help start off this. So if you're still copying the board, feel free to do so. Example 2. Suppose that data is an angle in standard position whose terminal side lies in quadrant 3. So it already told you that it's in what quadrant? Quadrant 3, and it's in standard position, which means it starts off where? At the origin, 0, 0. Does it give you all any more information? Let's keep reading. It says sine of data is equal to -4/5. Find the values of the remaining trig functions. So, we have to now form a what? A triangle. Coming from here. Now, this case, we're just going to draw a triangle from the origin and standard position with not necessarily too much measurement because it doesn't give us an exact point. It just tells us what two sides are. So now we're going to go from here to here. See that magic? Data is here. This is what we're in reference to. In reference to data in standard position, according to the x-axis, because the triangle always has to form on the x-axis. It's adjacent to it, so that if it's adjacent, we also get a little bit more information. It's a 90-degree angle. Now, it says sine of data is equal to -4/5. What is sine?
Opposite over hypotenuse.
Opposite over hypotenuse. In reference to data, opposite is -4, and the hypotenuse will be 5. Why didn't I make the hypotenuse -5?
Because it can be negative.
The hypotenuse can never. The hypotenuse can never be negative. I just have to make sure. Anyway, so now we know -4, we know 5, and what can we use to find our last side?
B equals 3. You can use the
Joel.
Pythagorean.
We can use the Pythagorean theorem.
Why? Because
So you need to
B
find
squared
the-
plus B squared equals C.
Yeah.
So, what is A? -4 plus B squared equals 5 squared. What is -4 squared? 16 plus B squared equals 25. What is, now what do we do? How do we get B squared by itself? Subtract 16 on either side of my equation. Negative 16 minus 16 cancels out. Absolutely. 25 minus 16 is 9 equals B squared What is b squared? What do we do? We square root. I love it. Can we do it again? Sound like a symphony. B equals 3. But what did I say before? Plus or minus 3. Perfect. So plus or minus 3. Now, what in reference to this angle and this triangle and this part on my what is this? Quadrant and my I forgot the name of the thingy. What is this called? No, what is this called? Coordinate plane. There you go, I couldn't think of the word. In reference to that part of the coordinate plane, and I'm on that side, what is my x going to be?
Negative.
Who said it? Negative. Perfect. Heads up. So x is going to be negative 3. Perfect? Yes, do we all agree?
Yes.
X is negative 3. So now we can find our 6 magical trigonometric functions. Aren't you all excited? I know you all are. I'm excited. Sine of data, cosine of data, tangent of data. Cosecant of data, secant of data, cotangent of data. We already know what is. What is sine of data? What is sine of data? What is sine of data? Negative 4 over 5, because the problem gives that to us. So what is cosecant of data?
Oh, 5.
If cosecant is the inverse of sine, what is cosecant? It's negative 5 over 4.
I got a question.
I have an answer.
You see how like they gave us 4 and 5?
Yes.
Couldn't we have just said couldn't we just have said 3?
Yes, because 3, 4, 5 is a special. It's not a special triangle, but it's a standard triangle. So it's 3, 4, 5 is a standard triangle. But we proved that the 3, 4, 5 works by using the Pythagorean theorem. Yes or no?
We used a lot of time though.
That's perfect, because now we're masters at the Pythagorean theorem, and now we're going to be masters at these trigonometric functions. So what is cosine of data? What is cosine of data? What is cosine of data?
Negative 3 over 5.
Negative 3, because that's adjacent over hypotenuse. And what is secant of data, the inverse of cosine? Negative 5 over 3. What is tangent of data? What is tangent? What is tangent? Opposite over adjacent. So it's negative 3 over negative 4. And that translates to what? 3 over 4. Perfect. It's 3 over 4. Why? What?
Because you gotta make it like you gotta make it the opposite.
It's not opposite. What is negative 3 and negative 4? When you divide a negative by a negative, it's positive. Y'all need to learn this. Cotangent of data is the inverse of tangent of data, so cotangent of data is 4 over 3. Now let's go ahead and test out all scholars take calculus. Do all scholars take calculus?
No.
Well, sine of data is supposed to be, sine of data is negative 4 over 5, and cosecant of data is negative 5 over 4. We're now in the third quadrant. Does that hold true? Does it hold true? Yes? Why? Answer the phone, Mr. Torrey. Answer that phone. Answer it.
No, listen to him, Ben.
I should.
No.
Sine of data is equal to negative 4 over 5. Does that hold true in our third quadrant?
Yeah.
Does it hold true in our third quadrant? Do
Yes.
all scholars take calculus? Is this positive or